This is the UK Brand Show with Penny Williams and Mark Challoner.
Well, good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. Hello, Pen.
Hello, Mark. How are you?
I'm good. Are you?
Yeah.
Good.
I think the word is.
Oh, okay. Have you had a good week?
I've had a good week. I've had a good weekend. I've seen friends and just life is good, Mark.
Good. Good but busy, I hope.
Yeah, exactly. It's like a switch has been turned and the world is coming back. And I was out at the weekend and still mask wearing, but definite feel of normality again. Oh, I went to an amazing Chinese restaurant, actually. You always know a good Chinese restaurant when you're the only English person in there.
It's always very true. I have a friend from Hong Kong. In fact, I'm meeting him this week in London at a Chinese. So he's from Hong Kong. He was the MD of toptable.co.uk, right? Yeah. So A, he's got good knowledge in terms of what the best restaurants are, and B, he's from Hong Kong and is Chinese and therefore knows the best places for Chinese dim sum, etc., which is exactly what happened. So we're meeting for dim sum on Wednesday. And so whenever we go, I always make sure if it's his turn to pay the bill, I take a photograph of his bill. So when I go back myself, I can just say, I'll have that on my phone, please. Let him choose.
Very good idea. I like that.
Yeah. So today we're going to be talking about mobile. And the reason we're going to talk about mobile is because, as you know, my news association, I've been doing a blog for them for quite a long time about mobile strategies. And I sort of took the view, and we took the view together, that it's probably run its course as a blog, because whereas mobile was, the next best thing, and tablets and all the rest of it, everyone was sort of, getting familiar with them alongside the smartphones, etc. Everything to do with mobile is probably now integrated into everything else. So you would never, not normally, you would not normally say to people, you would like to do a mobile campaign. You say a digital campaign, which includes mobile. So that's where the whole blog thing is moving. But as a result of all of that, and as a consequence of all of that, I was asked for us to do a piece on my views on the future of mobile as a sort of end piece for the blog. Where's mobile going for the next sort of 2, 3, 5 years, if anyone is able to predict that far. So I thought I'd do a little presentation around that for today's show and show you what my thoughts are about the future of mobile.
And what do you mean by mobile?
I mean mobile devices. So people keep saying to me, for example, will we have mobiles in the future? What will it look like? Will it be different? And, so that's what I started off with, sort of trying to tackle. Yeah. And looked at all the sort of research out there and all the expert opinion out there, and sort of put it all together and come up with something where I think this is what mobile is going to be for the next few years, and what we should be looking at.
Very good.
So I'm going to share my screen, if you bear with me, caller. And here we are. You should be able to see that. And you should be able to see my slides now. Can you see that?
Indeed, I can.
Excellent. So I'm going to just move my screen a little bit so I can see you better. There we are. So this is all about immersive technologies, which of course mobile is. And we're in this era of the smartphone. It's been around now since 2007. The iPhone came out in 2007. I don't know if that seems a long time ago or not, but 14 years ago, we've had the smartphone around. And people are still getting used to them, actually. There's a lot of people who don't have a smartphone still. The majority do. I think it's something like, I read something like 92% of 8 to 12-year-olds now have a smartphone. Would you believe?
Yeah, I wonder how, I was with someone at the weekend that doesn't have a smartphone, isn't on Facebook, and is quite, not in the digital world like the rest of us, which there are still some people that haven't embraced it.
Yeah, that's right, there are. So anyway, so this is all about that. And I would say that in starting it all off, really, and again, this applies to whether you're a business, big or small. And it applies to whatever industry you're in, really, of what we should know about the future of mobile. So I've really taken a lot of research together. I've taken a lot of, say expert opinion and sort of added them all together, put my take on it all, because I've been involved in the mobile world for quite a number of years as well. Before the iPhone, would you believe, when I was at the Telegraph, and we're starting all their mobile strategies around that. So I think it's fair to say, just to start things off with, the smartphones have brought the world, if you like, innovative change, and it's altered the way we all work and we shop and we communicate. And during 2020 and 21, which is, if you like, the main COVID period, there's been many different technological developments which have influenced how the future of such technology will shape our lives.
I've had lots of conversations with people who, just the simple stuff like more people using Amazon, so they need more delivery drivers. Everyone's adopted digital.
Yeah. Here's a question for you. Have you any clue today how many smartphones there are in the world? So there are, I'll give you a clue. There are, I think, 7.5 billion people on the planet.
It's more than one per person, isn't it?
Well, in certain economies it is.
Yeah, so yeah, okay.
But I'm talking about the whole population.
I don't know then, in which case, because in my head,
I shall reveal to you. You can tell me whether it was anywhere near what you had in mind.
And it's adults, as in over 16.
4 billion.
Wow.
4 billion. Well over half the world have got every person. That's, every single person on the planet, not just Western markets or Eastern markets where mobiles are really prevalent, and everywhere, Africa, everywhere. 4 billion people, 4 billion users have got a smartphone, and they may well, have more than, as you say, some people got more than one, but there are 4 billion smartphone users in the world, and it's being predicted that that will continue to increase year by year. So as we look to the future of mobile, what we probably need to do is look at the trends affecting the environment in the current year, which may channel our thinking as to, what will happen in the future. So I think there are essentially 8 main developments this year and into next in terms of, where mobile's going. So the first thing to say is something we've covered before, which is artificial intelligence and machine learning. And it's been predicted that these technologies will accelerate the growth of businesses enormously. So just to tell everybody what we're talking about here, what's the difference between artificial intelligence, machine learning, and deep learning? So best way to look at it, I think, is like this. So artificial intelligence is a technology which enables a machine to simulate human behavior. And that could be like a cleverer version of an automated thing. So you start with automation first. So all the things that humans used to do, a machine can probably do it now very easily. Artificial intelligence, I guess, is one step up from that. So the goal of AI is to make a smart computer system like humans, to solve complex problems. So not just automating stuff, but it stays beyond that. How you look at complex problems in business and try and solve that without having to apply human brains, which can take you years and thousands of people to do. Just having a computer can work it out for you. So that's the sort of basic artificial intelligence. And then a subset of that is machine learning, which allows a machine to then automatically learn from the past data. So it's all about data now. So it's all about taking past data, not just layering on a sort of a way to solve a problem, but taking past data without being programmed explicitly to do so, and learning from your behaviors in the past of what your behaviors might be and what you might want from me. So I guess a good example of that might be your recommendations on Amazon. It'll recommend smarter things the more you interact with it, based on what your past behavior has been. So it takes the past data and then looks at behavior analysis and what you should be doing and what you might want today instead of getting a better experience. And then finally, the deep learning bit is the subset of that, which is, it's a type of machine learning, but it's about computers learning to think about structures modeled on a human brain. So what it does, it imitates the workings of a human brain in processing data. And this is the important bit, creating patterns for use in decision making going forward. So it's about, whereas machine learning is about past data, Machine learning is about creating model behavior for the future. So it's a much more complicated thing which analyzes human brain activity.
And that's fascinating, isn't it? Because that might identify stuff that you don't even realize you're doing.
It's right. It's right. So the combination of AI with mobile saves businesses money and it enhances the user engagement. And in 2021, many businesses choose to integrate AI-powered things like chatbots into their apps.
Yeah.
And the usage of of this in apps is increasingly constant. AI in mobile apps helps take control of all the monotonous work efficiently and provides a personalized and frictionless customer experience, which is what it's all about. So that's the first thing. The second thing is about the Internet of Things. So the ever increasing number of mobile devices benefits our control of things like smart appliances and gadgets you can see on the screen, whether it's you can look on your phone at your CCTV at home, or you can control your washing machine, or blah blah blah. Sorry, heating, yeah, absolutely, yeah, the whole Hive thing, yeah. So mobile apps powered by the IoT, for instance, allows us to connect smartwatches and other wearables, smartphones, in connection with the subject of today. And the worldwide trend on Internet of Things is projected to reach over $1 trillion. Yes, $1 trillion in 2022. That's according to Google. Wow. So it's something which is only going to increase and get more and more important as part of our lives, and very much centered around mobile. So the third thing is all about stuff that we've talked about before on this show, AR and VR. So mobile offerings using VR and AR technologies are already sort of creating amazing experiences for mobile users and for helping companies in increasing sales. And it's just the beginning. Everything's got its time. And we've talked about AR and VR for last couple of years, haven't we? Everything has its day. Yeah,
longer than that. I think we've
It's coming. And it's slowly but surely. So in many industries, such as things like health and medical and tourism and marketing and construction, we saw with the CGI thing last week, and the AR thing there.
It brings things alive, doesn't it? Helps people to visualize. Oh, actually, I saw it on, sorry, just to interject, Country File. How weird is that? Country File on Sunday morning. We're using VR to do a forest and how it could look in 100 years and the wildlife that would come in, and so to try and get people to care more about the planet.
That's interesting, and that's the great thing. I think it's great for this technology education. It's great. That's a really good example of. So AR and VR are used for training work and for customer applications, and ever since Apple, their SDK, the Service Developer Kit, started allowing developers of apps to use AR within its app store apps. It started to mushroom. So IKEA is a good example. We've used that example before. You can pick a chair from their range, and you can put it in your room based on an AR application.
Lots of do that now.
Yeah. So watch out, I'd say, for increasingly creative and engaging ways we can use these technologies in the future as they become more intuitive and easily used without the need for headsets and special glasses. I think is a case. That's what's putting people off the VR thing at the moment. Special glasses are needed. So hopefully that's a new way we're going to use VR. I saw something recently about I think it's Apple Glass. If you Google Apple Glass, anyone listen to this, Google Apple Glass later, and you can see what's happening next year. They could bring out the next version of the Google Glass, which everyone derided, but it wasn't really about that being a mass market product. That was their first iteration. Now the Google Glass are taking the reins and saying, we're going to build them into your normal glasses. So you can start to use it. No one thinks you'll look at a bit of an idiot or a glass hole, as the phrase was. And the next one is all about chatbots. So many businesses, as I said earlier, are beginning to prefer using chatbots in mobile business apps, mainly because it helps in expanding the customer experience and it helps 24/7 services to your customers. And the chatbot market size is predicted. It's going to reach 1.25 billion by 2025, again, according to Google.
Wow.
So you can see from that chart there, what happens. They get an input from a user, it analyzes their request for information, it identifies, what their intent is, what they want to do with the information. It composes a suitable reply for you based on data, and then sends that back to you. So that's what AI chatbots all about, using the data again, of working out what it is you're asking and why you're asking it, and trying to give you a more intelligent response.
Yeah.
Fifth one of the 8 is blockchain. And do you remember we had Imogen Heap, the musician, on the show?
Yeah, I have to say blockchain still, I have a bit of a mental block on all of that. But there's been a lot about that sort of currency stuff being adopted more by people now.
Well, blockchain is one of the famous mobile trends in that, it can be integrated into mobile apps, for instance, so it increases security features and tracking and quality controls. And various payment apps prefer using blockchain technology for more secure and faster transactions. So it's still in its infancy, of course. And Google, again, say that by 2025, the global blockchain technology revenue in size is expected to reach $40 billion. Wow. And allow us to perform things like verification checks on customers without depending on third parties like a bank, and where the source of any record can be tracked within the chain. So it could well be useful for secure and dynamic media subscriptions, for example, in the future.
It's going to be interesting to see if banks are going to be affected.
Yeah, it is, and how they adapt to it. You're right.
Really getting left behind now.
Yeah, you're right. There's been a lot of internet banks have cropped up, haven't they, on the high street almost. So with Imogen Heap, if you remember, what she was talking about in the musical world, that she can use this connection, if you like, to take, how can I describe this? She can take what's being used on the blockchain to find out whether people would buy a ticket if she had a tour in their town, or whether if you're a fan of hers, you can actually see what she's reading, or where she's buying her clothes from, or what she's into at the moment as a music, and you can follow her around and buy clothes yourself like hers, or whatever you want to do. So that's what blockchain's all about. So that's interesting, and again, a mobile technology. The fifth one is about 5G technology, and it's the latest upgrade, if you like, in the mobile world, and it'll increase our agility and responsiveness of any wireless interfaces or devices, and data is transmitted over the wireless broadband at incredible speeds. You can download a movie, for example, in a few seconds rather than minutes.
Yeah,
it's one of the top technology trends in mobile. And by 2024, projections predict that there'll be around 2 billion 5G subscriptions worldwide, and it'll enable us to do things much faster and give more valued user experiences for our customers. This is short of it. Seventh one's mobile commerce. So we've all started, since COVID, we've all started paying for things on our mobile, haven't we?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you've been talking about it for years and years, Mark.
It takes a pandemic to come to the fore.
Yeah, and the sort of flip side of that is that cash now isn't being used and isn't being transported. A friend of mine's husband was made redundant because he managed all the trucks that go around moving money around, and it's just dropped off the edge of a cliff.
Yeah. Sadly, it's true. So yeah, mobile commerce. So it's used on mobile devices to manage business. In terms of huge amounts of transactions online, including buying and selling products, and online banking, of course. And I'd say COVID's accelerated this growing area, and the use of mobile commerce, whether it's going for a Starbucks coffee or whatever it is growing by the day. And that's why many developers prefer to use this technology in mobile apps. We've all seen in-app purchases on many occasions, I'm sure. So again, it gives a much better user experience. It's mobile, friendly. It's very much geared for mobile. It can location track you and give you offers based on where you are, the time of day you're at, and give you personalized notifications about things. So mobile commerce technology is widely, of course, still at the moment. You get eBay or Amazon, as I mentioned, Starbucks. There's loads of companies that are using it, but we're going to see more and more of that going on as time goes on. They say that more than 1 in 4 people 22% use voice search on their devices at least once a day. So
Yeah.
while 27% use it once a week, and this is according to a survey of 2,000 mobile phone users early this year, equally 29% have never used a voice assistant, but the potential here could be huge for mobile commerce, but we'll see as we go. And that leads me on, of course, to this thing that is a voice itself. You know, it's possibly the one to watch for 2022 more than anything else, alongside 5G maybe. So following on from the Internet of Things revolution mentioned earlier, voice is the best way for people to interact with the literally billions of internet connected devices and gadgets, and they're still predicted to come on stream in the next few years, from refrigerators to sports wearables, and Google, Apple, and of course Amazon, I'm sure, will be planning to be on most of these items with their voice assistants. It's a natural flow. So all this doesn't make the smartphone redundant like many have forecast. The smartphone will still be at the center of our lives. It'll just have a new function. And I think that's the key of where's mobile going for the future. It'll just have a different function. So don't be amazed if in, say, 2 to 3 years time, your smartphone, whilst it looks quite similar to what you load today, it'll suddenly be something that you're talking to as a matter of course. And that in turn is able to control many of those net connected items.
Absolutely. So, technology's there, isn't it, already? You know, yeah. Sort of fix things like Alexa.
That's right, exactly. So I think the summary of all of this is that these technologies could well help our businesses too. So not only will help your organization make the correct decisions, AI and all of the rest what goes with it, but it'll also help you boost in productivity and ultimately revenue and profits. It's all about the experience, again, something we've talked about for years. So for many years, I've talked about at conferences and seminars about the power of mobile and my equation I mentioned before for what I think is the future. So it's all about creativity, which mobile allows you to do, and data, AI, etc., and technology gives a better experience. And if you wrap mobile around that equation, it gives a glimpse into the future. And I think most technologies, as I say, had their day at some point, and it usually is about waiting for the right timing. But with developments such as I say, voice and chatbots and 5G and mobile payments and the like, and other mobile related technologies, as we mentioned, it now shows us what I believe to be a sort of mobile future, where they highlight a more immersive and a more engaging and a more intuitive and ultimately more profitable future.
Yeah.
So that's it really. So I don't think mobile is going to disappear. As we know it, this thing in your hand, but it will have probably a different function, and you will, I think, definitely be talking more and more to it.
Yeah, and I think more and more, as you highlighted on the sort of development of apps, so things that like controlling your central heating, like controlling your lights, more of our life is going to be on our mobiles. I think there's no question of that.
That's right. That's right.
So it will just accelerate even more over the next couple of years, probably.
You're right. So that's where we are, Ken. So that's the future of mobile as I see it. I may be totally wrong and everything may completely flat the face, but I think that's where it's heading.
Right so far, Mark. It's just taken everyone a long time to catch up with you. You're visionary.
Well, there you go. If only that were true. So there we go. So that's it, Pen.
Great show. Thank you very much. And if you want to watch more, you've got the ukbrandshow.co.uk website. We've got our own YouTube channel, which you may well be already watching on or listening on. Contact us on Facebook and Twitter.
Yes, and we're taking a break for some holidays next couple of weeks. So we'll be back again in a few weeks' time with more great stuff.
Indeed.
Okay. Well, thanks everyone for watching or for listening, whichever device you're looking on, whatever device you're listening on, hopefully a mobile. And we'll see everyone again soon.
See you soon.
Take care. Bye.